Hi, Tauruses. This is Genevieve with Belladonna and Moonbeams. How are y'all doing? I'm doing really well. This is the reading for November 2nd through November 8, 2020. And whenever I hear the date, November 2nd, it gets me a little here because of my mom. That's my mom's birthday. And she passed away 14 years ago. So, when I hear the date, I'm just like, ah. Anyway, on to perkier things. I'm here for the reading. This is the last day of Samhain. I don't know if or the last part of Samhain, or some people have Samhain's already over. Samhain is actually the beginning of the year, kind of like the New Year's Day for non-pagans. So it's just kind of an interesting day and a little bit of reflection, a little bit of excitement for the new year. My hope is that we get a handle on COVID, we quit having ice-pocalypses, and things just get better. So, without further ado, what are we starting with? We're starting with the Ace of Swords, which is a card about success. We're going to have success. This is for Tauruses, but we're going to turn it right side up. So it's not quite a full success. Now that means that we're working towards success. It could mean one of two things. We're working towards success and we're not going to see the fullness of the success this week. Or it could mean that it's just not going to be as successful as we wanted it to be. Now, sometimes success, we don't think of as success. I know that sounds kind of conflicting, but it's really not, because sometimes we want it to be perfect. And what for us is perfect is not what happens. For example, I think you heard about the dog that came to me about not quite 2 weeks ago. And I had found 3 kittens that day, and the dog killed one of the kittens. I was so sad. And I made it clear that that dog had to leave me. I put it on Facebook, and because I was definite that this dog is leaving even no matter what, then people actually started networking the dog. And I have been trained for 2.5 years with this dog, on and off. So it's not like I hadn't tried, but as soon as I was done, people stepped up. And I drove the dog down to another town about 1.5 hours from here and got the dog into a rescue. But I was still really sad, and I've always known that dog was not meant to be my dog, which is why I've rehomed it, but just things just never worked out. And I always felt like that dog needed to be in the country. And so when I was driving to this small town, I realized that maybe this is what it took to get the dog where she needed to be, was that cat to die. Well, I am keeping one of the kittens. Big shock, right? And I realized tonight that I was meant to keep the kitten I'm keeping. But I probably would have kept the kitten that was killed if it hadn't have been for the dog killing the kitten. So overall, it was a success. I got the dog to a new place, and I got the kitten I'm supposed to have, but it still doesn't quite seem like a real success. But by the universe's standards and by source's standards, I think it was a success. But sometimes we just don't see it that way. So the next card we get is Judgment. Once again, it's upside down, so let's turn it right side up. And this is calling us to use our judgment, to use our common sense, and maybe even to recognize what is a success. And to make good decisions as we're having that success. Because we can mess up our successes. Oh, I know. Then the next card we get, once again, is upside down, so we're going to turn it right side up. And this is the world. That means we have the world at our feet. It's all about success once again. We are going to have a successful week. We really are Tauruses. I'm a Taurus too, in case you forgot that. But because we're having now everything's been watered down. So that means that either it's not coming to full fruition or it's not what we thought it would be. I tend to believe, at least for myself, that it's just not coming to full fruition. I'm going to start seeing those successes, but I'm not necessarily going to fully have them yet. Just saying. Now, I pulled a card from the Pro Tarot, which is becoming one of my favorite decks. And this card, once again, is upside down, so let's turn it right side up. And this is the Four of Swords. No, the Six of Swords. Really? Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is about moving on to a better place after disappointments. So since it's been upside down, that tells me that we are moving forward towards something better. But once again, we're not getting it fully this week. I think this week for us, we're going to start seeing glimpses of that success, but we're not going to fully have achieved it all. But we're on the pathway to it. And that's kind of all we need right now, right? The next card I pulled from is the spell casting oracle cards. Why is that name so hard for me? Well, anyway, I also really love this deck. And we get the prosperity card, which I like that, especially after having done that prosperity spell last week. So I feel like that's telling us that as we're getting the success, we're moving towards more prosperity. But once again, even though that one's right side up, I feel like we are being told that we're going to have to wait to get the fullness of that prosperity. Whoopsie, I just knocked something over. I'll just deal with it later. So anyway, sometimes I have clumsy moments. So I also read from my crystal ball for us. And I see an angel. And that tells me that our angels are with us. Our angels want us to recognize them, to talk to them, and to realize that they're with us. They're ready to speak to us. They're ready to share our lives, our days, our moments, our successes, and our failures. I see a pair of eyeglasses, which tells me that we need to be looking deeper. We need to put on our glasses to see what we really need to see. All too often, we just see the surface, but we're not seeing the reality. And I see a chimney with smoke coming out of it, which tells me that we need to be spending some time at home and celebrating ourselves and celebrating our lives in our homes. Because for me, when I'm grounding at home, I'm finding my place. When I'm cleaning, which I don't actually like to do, but when I'm spending time at home cleaning or working on my garden or whatever, I am actually grounding and finding myself. So I think that this week we need to be doing more of that. We need to be spending some time at home, some time meditating, some time grounding, because our veil is thinner. We're open to seeing and hearing more things. But if we're out running around going shh, like a chicken with their head cuts off, we're not going to hear that voice in our heads. We're not going to hear that still small voice of intuition and of our spirit guides and of our angels. Namaste, y'all. Have a good week. On Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the pendulum reading. So send me a 405-512-9400. Send me a text. Sorry. If you want to do a private reading, same number, 405-512-9400. And if not, I'll see you soon. Bye.